everybody? This is Dregs One. Welcome to another episode of the History of the Bay podcast, sponsored by the people of Amoeba Music, San Francisco. Go check them out on Haight Street in the city. Also got a shout out my folks, Dying Breed, San Francisco, always coming with some dope gear. You can also get your graffiti supplies from them, your spray paint, your markers, 24th Street in the Mission District, San Francisco. Today, behind the lens, we got King Said on the boards. We got DEO, a.k.a. Doing Everything Official, a.k.a. the busiest man in SCO business. And we got another special guest in the house today. She is a rapper, singer, a performer, been on some legendary tracks, had a long career, done a lot of dope things in this Bay Area music scene, the one and only Silky.
What's good?
What's up? Nice to meet you.
Likewise, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm very happy that you came through because you have a long career and I'm sure we got a lot of cool stuff we can talk about.
Some cool stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, let's go to the very beginning and why don't you tell everybody where you grew up?
Oh, so originally born in Los Angeles, but been in Richmond. My mom moved us to Richmond and was grinding in Richmond till about 17, 16, then moved to the O, and that's kind of where, a whole bunch of, features and comps and all of that stuff happened, but it started in Richmond.
Okay, so East Bay since the beginning. Mm-hmm. How did hip-hop come into your life?
Oh.
Actually, and was it hip-hop or was it R&B or was it soul or was it, because you sing and you rap, so which came first? So
my mom is an educator who played keys and drums. That's a little fun fact people don't know. But she's the one who was on the keys and then taught me how to sing.
Okay.
So, and that kind of started with church.
That's how it is for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, that started in church. And so she kept a mic in my hand, and I want to say probably about the 4th grade, something like that. I said this before, but it was this girl, she kept rapping. And she kept saying the one rap all the time. And I was like, why every time we got to get in a circle, she say the same thing? And so I went home and wrote my first 16, I'll call it.
Oh, shit, okay.
And then the next time she said that rap, it was up and stuck.
Oh, you battled it out, huh?
Yeah, she said it, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
And so I like that feeling of, everybody just seeing what the next thing is. So it kind of started real early for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it wasn't like a song or the movie. It was actually someone you knew that kind of got you into rapping. Very organic.
Yeah, very organic. Because to be honest, in my early years, I wasn't allowed to listen to stuff. So everything I heard was like in passing or at an aunt's house or, you know what I mean? Which for me, I think is dope because everything felt new. Like even now, stuff that I come across now that people grew up on forever, it's a new stimulant. It feels like a whole new thing. So first I didn't like that, but my response to it, it's like I never get bored. So
I know exactly what you mean. That's one of the most fun things about music is the discovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at what point after that battle, I'm assuming you won.
Yeah.
You got the crowd support, right?
Because now I wanted to write something different every day. That became my goal. So now, every time, I'm going to have something new every time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you kept it, you always had the multi-talented, the singing and the rap, and you kept up with both.
Right. But for me, it was definitely compartmentalized. It was, the singing was over here. That was in church and my mom.
You weren't doing gospel raps just yet? Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's when I got to cut up and say whatever I wanted to
Sure.
say. You know, not until, I can honestly say, not until, I want to say, like, my early stuff coming out. Well, I don't want to get ahead of your questions, but not until I say I got around Groove Line and T-Pup did I start kind of playing with singing on my stuff, because they only knew me as a rapper.
Mm.
I wouldn't even show the singing side early on, not too early, you know.
What was the first Bay Area rap that you got introduced to?
That I did or got introduced
That
to?
you heard as a listener?
Oh, that's a good question. I like it. What is the first? I want to say Sin from Richmond.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bob Sin.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay Jonah.
Yeah. Straight like that. Yeah. That's a good... Come on with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to like what was going on out here. Because I feel like after that, I got dipped totally. I got to give a shout out to T-Pup and Filthy Rich from Players Trying to Strive. They used to be selling a 40 back in the day. And I was with my homegirl. Now this isn't the first thing I was ever on, but it was the introduction of, officially the introduction of me, so to speak. I had been on stuff before then, but I rapped on T-Pup's album, which they, like I said, they were signed to 40, which is how he heard me. But T-Pup took me to Mike D and Sonny B in East Oakland on 68th and Avenal and was like, y'all gotta hear her. This was before they was doing the compilation. And I went over there to Mike D and Sonny B's, and I think I spit a verse. And after that, they invited everybody. When I say everybody, it was like old school, like delinquents and freaking Ager Man and just everybody, you know, that was around during that time, at least that was in the Oakland area. They pulled up that day. I'm talking about by the end of the day, I was hoarse. And the last person I heard was Ager Man. And I had never heard nothing like that in my life.
Yeah.
Fire.
Crazy style. Very unique. Yeah.
And you know what else? I want to say this too. The first artist I heard was Sin, but around the same time, Rap and Rhyme.
Okay.
Yeah, you making me dial it back because I was still in school and my homegirl, her brother, my homegirl Daima and her brother Maceo was friends with. So I was like a young pup. So I really got it like up close and personal. Like he would be rapping and like, you should spit something. Once I got that blessing out, it was up.
That's what's up. That influence. Rest in peace, Rap and Rhyme.
Rest in peace to Rap and Rhyme.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of women rappers. But I feel like back then, especially in the Bay, there was very few. Were you up on any of the other, or like, were there any other women that influenced you, either from the Bay or outside of the Bay?
So let me say this, because like I said, I was still in school. So who I did know was making noise. I gotta give respect to Marvelous.
Hell yeah.
For sure. And I say that peer-to-peer, colleague to colleague. I can't say influence because we were different, but I knew she was putting up mad noise and everybody, you know, like, yeah, she had fire. And still does.
She's so dope.
And still does.
Yeah.
So I actually love that question because definitely from, you know, our side of the tracks, she one of the artists I'm most proud of that's still dope right now.
Off top.
You know what I mean? But it was always, with females in hip hop, it always was get you one girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a girl rapper.
I got a girl rapper. Yeah. Oh, my girl rapper against your girl rapper. You know, it was like that. But Ashley Flames was dope and still is. Queen Amina. Queen Amina is fire right now. And I have to say that, like, I have to. And she was the one who rapped on Keisha's joint. Mm-hmm. But she has so much fire. You know what I mean? But it was definitely like one-offs.
Yeah, so it was like, even early on, it was about like kind of breaking out of the mold instead of just like, all right, I'm gonna just be the girl rapper on the song. It's like the artists you're talking about are people who can hold their own.
Absolutely, all of them. But all the girls, the women that I'm speaking of now, they weren't the girl in a group, but that's just what it was at that time. Like, even for myself, not to sound boisterous or anything like that, but I call myself the hit woman for hire. I can't be in your group, but you could call me, and I do the job. Yeah. You know, whatever you trying to do, we could get it done. I never wanted to be the token girl.
It's about being your own artist.
Being my own artist, and and just showing that women they can hold their own.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Lyrically, you know, and just with content and subject matter. And I do like now that it's so many female rappers. I do like that part, that every different style is being seen. It's not like one popped out of a...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I do like that part, that they just letting it all go. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I do too. It's not as like a spectacle anymore. Like, oh shit, it's a girl who raps. It's like, it's kind of like regular to a point as it should be. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's a diversity of styles, and you know, there's some that are like really coming with like bars.
Bars.
Yeah.
They're most definitely.
Hell yeah. So you mentioned you end up in the studio in East Oakland. Mm-hmm. And does that lead to your first appearance on a record?
No, my first appearance on a record, I was a pup, was on E-40 from Richmond, called Recognize a Real G.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. So that was my first, and then
Wait, what was that about? Go a little deeper. What was you talking about on there?
Oh. I wasn't saying nothing out of order, you know. I would, recognize a real G, that was 100 years ago.
Okay, fair enough. So you just going in. Right there. You going in, okay.
Yeah. The next thing after that, I was on a Kim Folks compilation from Richmond. I was able to, like, really get my footwork in. I started right then, and then right after that, I was still in my teens, came to Oakland, got on them compilations, and was up after that. But the first thing was Recognize a Real G.
That's what's up.
With E-40 from Richmond.
I'm going to go pull that up after this interview. Recognize a Real G. Drink a 40 to that one.
What's even more funny, on the Kim Folks compilation, my song was called Whip One For Me.
Oh, shit.
And I talk about donuts and posy rear end. And
that's tight. I like that, though. Like, a lot of the Bay Area rappers, the women are not, like just to say it again, it's not like they're doing, like, strictly, like, Lil' Kim type raps. It's like they're, like, artists like Conscious Daughters can spit shit that women and men can relate to. So.
Because when you really think about it, everybody had the sister, the cousin.
Yeah.
It was it was the loose girl on the block, and then it was the girl that was your cousin, best friend, that wasn't up for all of that, but she knew what was up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She
You
could hold
trusted her with
Yeah.
everything. You was rooting for her. And not saying you wasn't rooting for the other girls, but there was several different conversations coming from the inner city of, you know what I mean? You're not going to look at your sister or your cousin the same way you going to look at, you know.
I understand.
Little bust down.
Yeah. Little thing, yeah.
Little thing.
Was anyone trying to like swoop you up and get you on a deal or sign you or?
Yeah, yeah. Well, one, I've been signed to several hood deals.
Okay.
You know.
That's something we cover a lot on this podcast.
Listen, tried and true. I've survived them.
Did some homeboy business.
Listen. There was some nice money involved, but, you know, unfortunately, you know, depending on how much of the business you know as the CEO, depending on how far to go or what else you have your hands in. But I want to say after a lot of those compilations like Groove Line and Lock and Load and Players Trying to Strive, after being on all of their projects and then doing the song with 40 and then doing MTV.
Okay, so let's get into that. So you're on Lieutenant Roast A Botch.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up on that track?
So, like I said, I was on T-Pup and Filthy Rich's album, and it was like I was a cousin to their group. Every time they had a session, they would call me to come through, and whatever we did that day made it on the album. So it was like I wasn't a member, but I'm like the cousin that's there technically,
okay,
or the sister that's there technically. But because they were signed to them, he heard me on there and then called and was like, I want to do a song called Lieutenant Roast A Botch. My immediate first question was, so am I the botch?
Good question.
That you're roasting?
Yeah. It's important information.
Have to know this.
Yeah.
Because I come from a long line of joke tellers and cappers and you know what I mean? Because roasting mean we get the cap on each other. To me, it's nothing personal. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he called and it turned into a cap session.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe of that song, right?
Right. And it's actually the remake of Too Short's song.
The one with female funk on there? Or?
Kimmy Fresh and Respect to Her.
Yeah.
They call him, you know what I mean? So he wanted to redo that and we did it our way and that's how that happened.
What was it like working with E-40?
Funny and it was cool, you know, for the time period that it was in, it's 100 years ago, but it was cool.
Well, that's a big look at that time. I mean, he was and still is one of the biggest artists to ever come out of the Bay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it was cool. It's like going to cousins' houses. You know what I mean? It's going to be jokes and capping. And it was, just pretty much that.
And then you mentioned MTV.
Yeah. So
what happened with that?
So, rest in peace to Ron Blackburn. Our label, it was doing whatever was happening at that time. And he had sent my stuff into MTV. And it was like a show, kind of like an American Idol. What's funny is, when he said I was going on MTV, I thought it was to go do spring break.
Oh, he's just about to be up there with Pauly Shore or something?
I mean, like, how you think you... like, I was out of order. I think I'm finna go perform. What song was that? Like, they don't know the...
Yeah, that's what MTV was. This is before hip-hop was the number one genre, right? It's a lot of, like, alternative heavy metal type shit on MTV back
But
then.
you remember they used to have that thing where the show was outside, so whoever had the... So
that was Pauly Shore, right?
But I literally was thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to open or, this is, part of me getting my bones or whatever, or cutting my teeth or whatever. But I didn't know it was a show. And he sent it in and Left Eye was the host and went with my brother G-Nut. We didn't even officially, we met each other because we were on the same compilation. But he was like, don't worry about it. I got you.
Is Gina did stuff with Spice One?
Yeah, 187 Fact and Dingy. It feel like lifetimes. But we got on the plane and went out there and we talked about a few things before we went on and we didn't even get to rehearse. But we got the audition and after that, went on 3 times. It was dope. To me, it was dope being judged by my peers. Mm. You know what I mean? It wasn't like just some judges. The judges changed every week. Okay. So it was Drew Hill at the time and KRS-One and Mac 10 and Tatiana Ali and, let's not forget Dave. Oh, I'm so mad. No. It's a big dog, too. No disrespect to Dave, but he's an industry guy. It'll come to me. I see his face. David Foster. Okay. That did Celine Dion and all of that. Like, to be respected amongst your, the people that you will share space and time with. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To even if we're only crossing each other's paths now, to revisit later. It's all.
That means you're doing something right.
Listen.
You're in the right company.
It's good to be in certain rooms.
Rough
let
top.
You know, your journey is on track or what have you. But we went on 3 times, wind up winning. And
what was the prize?
It was a $200,000 video. It started out as a $100,000 video.
God damn.
And this was like when Eminem first came out. Mm. But, and then they upped it to $200,000 and then it was like a whole bunch of Ralph Lauren apparel.
Damn.
And I think it was a little cash. It wasn't a lot. It was like 5 bands.
Yeah.
But, we won, got the video and.
That's crazy. This is when now you can make a video yourself. You can get a camera for $500. Right. Point and shoot, upload it. But back then, that's like you're talking actual production.
Right. Like, I want to say one of those scenes was in not a mansion, but like a castle. No exaggeration. Because it's a little, and QDIII, Quincy Jones' son, did the remix for it. And I remember he had these.
Remind me the name of the song.
Respect.
Okay, that's right.
Respect. But the original was done by Sonny B, rest in peace to him, and Mike D. I feel like I've said it in rooms, but I have to say it. Mike D and Sonny B, when they gave me that song, I put it on the it was put on the Lock and Load compilation, and I won MTV with a song from the Hood compilation.
That's sick.
So I have to make sure I put some respect on their name, you know what I mean? Because that was right there on 68th and Avenal. And I only could do a minute and 30 seconds. And won the show with a minute and 30 seconds of something they did. So, you know how you doing stuff and you're not really laying it all out, really thinking about how fast stuff is going. But I have to put some respect on their name because I won the show with something they did. And then QDIII later did the remix because that's a whole MTV thing. And that's how that was another part of the prize that QDIII was doing.
Oh, wow.
So they did the video and QDIII.
And so at this point, was there any label situation or you just...
Well, it's when it gets sticky. So my label was in flux we'll word it that way at the time. And it was a lot going on with them, but Warner Brothers came, Universal came, KRS-One came.
Wow. He was one of the judges.
He was one of the judges.
Wow.
He said it on TV. I signed her on the spot.
Hell yeah.
You know, so that was what's up. And I went out there and checked. We sat in, you know, we had our conversations or what have you, but, you know.
It wasn't feeling that situation. You didn't want to sign to the Temple of Hip Hop.
Today you do.
Listen. Listen. Well, here it's a couple of things. One, it's about, was the money right?
Of course.
Right? And then two, it was at a different time. So, you know, you go with a certain label, you got to think of what else are they doing?
Yeah.
And are they going to sit you down to promote what they're doing?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you being dope or not or this. It's what is their agenda. You know what I mean? So he was super cool. I wound up opening for him at a show in LA. Me and G-Nut had a ball. But the money wasn't all the way what we wanted it to be.
Sure.
So we kind of, you know, passed on that.
Well, so where did you end up making a decision?
This is when it gets sticky. So my label at the time, they saw that they would be able to capitalize off the situation. So now, if they couldn't get a label deal, they weren't gonna let me go.
If they weren't gonna get a deal out of it. So
right.
If you want her, you we're coming with her.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which I'm loyal to a fault. They really never had to worry about that. I would have.
You would have taken care of them. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Or if nothing else, go get the deal and come back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you call me for feature, what we need to do? Still build up home.
Yeah.
But go get it and come back, you know.
Right.
So they kind of wouldn't let go. And to be honest.
So they held you hostage.
Yeah.
Damn. So that majors kick.
Well, and then here's the deal. If they couldn't get a label deal, then they wouldn't let me go. But you can't get a label deal with one artist.
You need a whole label.
You need a whole label.
You need a roster.
You
need SoundScan sales to verify that. So
you need a few artists.
Yeah.
You have to have catalog.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and like I said, the label was in flux because who was once in charge was no longer in charge. Like, they caught a case, and then some other people came
That's
in.
what I was thinking as soon as you said that, but yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's what came into my mind.
Yeah.
Someone got locked up.
Yeah, yep. And he was being solid, like, let her go.
Wow.
Unbeknownst to me, I wasn't told that information.
Damn.
And then other hands got involved. It just wasn't one person. So once they were gone, other hands got involved. It was like, no, we're keeping her.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of those deals had, like, passed by. They did put the album out. And it did what it did, you know.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like I didn't get to work with everybody I wanted to work with. It was more of, let's hurry up and get something done, you know. But for what I recorded it in like 10 days, the whole album, like, it was straight lock in and get it done. But I was able to perform off of it and tour off of it. They got a lot of money off of it. But it wound up a conflict because, you know, the business wasn't what it needed to be. And with the momentum we had, like, MTV was showing the special and because that's another thing, MTV gave me an hour special that would come on for, like, seemed like it came on for at least a month
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for an hour. You just see my story come on at least a few times a day. So it was so many things, so many missed opportunities. But who knows what that blocked? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Who know? You know, a good friend of mine told me about the butterfly effect. You could think it's gonna be a different way if you woulda, but who knows what you were being spared from. It just happened in a very uncomfortable way, you know.
Well, there's with every good story about major deals in the music industry, there's a lot of bad ones. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, it's trial and error. Everybody has a dream of what they want to do until it's time to do it, because you really have to be emotionally grown to navigate this. You cannot have temper tantrums, you know. If I could say this, one of the things, I watch a lot of unsung shows, and I hate when it's the one person that's in the way of what they could have did.
A lot of that.
You'd be like, why? You couldn't just...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I pride myself on making sure that it ain't gonna be me. You know what I mean? But on an upswing of that, because like I said, that label, like one of the CEOs caught a case, one got killed. It was a whole nother hand in it that shouldn't have even been there. So it was a bunch of stuff actually happening in the middle of me winning MTV. Like, I want to say, if I won in October, one of the CEOs died in May.
So we're talking...
This is a matter of months.
Less
this
than 6
isn't
months.
A long, drawn-out thing. It's happening
things are moving quick.
Very quickly.
Right.
And so the new CEO that was involved, that just kind of was very temperamental, and, you know, we'll leave that there. I wound up having to go perform. And that was because I was kind of locked into a contract. And then came Boots Riley from the Coup.
Wow.
And he needed a singer. And so while I was waiting that out, I wound up going on tour with the Coup.
Hell yeah.
So that made it where I didn't even have to be bothered with that. And the rest is up.
Were you already like friends with him? Or?
Absolutely not.
Were you familiar with the music?
I knew the music.
Because they have a very niche spot in Bay Area rap.
So I knew who they were, and I knew like a couple of songs that I had seen, but I wasn't so well versed. But Martin Luther, he called me and was like, Boots need a singer. I believe LaToya London used to sing with Boots on tour, on the road or something like that?
Well, because the Coup tour band was different from the studio band at that time, right?
At that time, yes.
Like the studio production, and then they would have live instrumentations and vocalists for the shows, right?
Right, and and that only turned into that when Pam's business started taking off.
She was a chef, right?
She was a chef, she was DJing, she DJed for Prince. So, yeah.
Purple Pam.
Straight like that. Purple Pam, straight like that. Rest in peace to her. So, yes, there was a different thing going on. And I think that's when Boots had started doing live shows.
Right.
More with a band to be respectful to Pam. You get what I'm saying? Because what you gonna do, get another DJ?
Right.
Then that looks... But if you do it live, now, whenever she comes or goes...
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. Because if you go to a Coup show and somebody else is DJing besides Pam, that ain't gonna look right.
Right. And he would never. So that's how it turned into a live show where you just get full live instrumentation, and her turntables are ready whenever she stepped to them.
Dope.
But yeah, so Martin Luther brought it to me about him needing a singer, and I guess he had Boots had him reach out, or however that worked out. And I think I went and did maybe 1 or 2 shows, but I wasn't used to learning somebody else's material.
I was going to say, you went straight into shows? You didn't start with like rehearsals or
Absolutely
nothing?
not.
What?
Absolutely not.
Damn.
My first Coup show, he was rehearsing. I came to the rehearsal. Kid you not, it was probably 8 songs I needed to learn in the rehearsal because the show is tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
It was straight like that. So he told me what the songs were. I went, and then we had the show. And after that first show, I was like, this feels weird having to stand in one place. Because it's just me. It wasn't like a bunch. I had never done backgrounds. I didn't. I was an MC. I hadn't even been doing the singing stuff with backgrounds. I just was rapping. So bottom line, I learned the songs overnight, and I was like, I want to say maybe we did one more show, and he was like, hey, can you leave for 2 months? I did probably 2. Can you leave for 2 months? We got a tour. I'm like, you know what? Yep.
Yeah, why not?
I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can literally say on that first tour, that live show is where I start stretching out and learning like what I was fully capable, because it's a different genre.
It's going damn near more into funk.
Mm-hmm.
And almost like rock.
No, not damn near. It was most definitely that. It was funk. It was rock. It was hip hop, militant hip hop.
Yeah.
And then it like after that tour, I want to say when he recorded it was like a little punk in there as well.
Sure.
So I always have to give him his props, because these are all audiences that I wanted to experience, but he gave me an audience that I would have had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for. You know what I mean? He gave me an audience that I'm talking about in the paint. We gone 2 months, 3 months, month and a half. It got to a point where it seemed like roughly 4.5 months out of the year I'm gone.
You're talking festivals,
we talking
different states,
Coachella,
different
Bonnaroo,
countries. Yeah.
London, France, Milan, Brussels, Switzerland, Colombia, Spain, several times over. At least at one point, we was overseas more than we was home for months on end. So that's why I say you never know. The butterfly effect, you never know. You're so trying to push something to go this way, but you're being preserved and protected in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And you're giving an audience that, we opening for Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Like,
there was, wasn't there a group of Boots and Tom Morello?
Absolutely. Street Sweeper Social Club.
Hell of a name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I never asked, but it very much so sounds like Boots.
Yeah.
That's a Boots.
Militant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. It's disappointing sometimes because people measure success in music, especially hip hop, with record sales, fame, quote unquote, like, I don't know, just like mainstream accolades, Billboard charts, blah, blah, blah. And you can still have all those and that's cool, but like, to me, success in music is just being able to do dope shit. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I love about this podcast is I get to talk to everybody and hear all the different ways that they found success. And I always believe like you have to define success for yourself. What success looks like to you could be totally different to somebody else.
Right. And like I said, it would be times that like I would be, I'm home. I've probably been gone 3 months. And they're like, you still do music?
Like, motherfucker, I was just in Brussels. What you know about that?
Straight like that. Like, I was just in Copenhagen, England.
Hell yeah.
And we had a show at 1:30 in the morning. And I'll never forget. And I gotta say it. Kev Choice had came out. He was subbing for LJ. And he came to the back and he said, and Silky got motherfuckers out here with signs. I'm thinking he just playing. But I come out, it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm thinking, you know, when you go off of out here, if you're not outside, if you're not in the room with the party and knowing how it's going, you don't know what the energy is going to be at 1:30.
Oh, yeah.
When I say I don't come out until like the third song or fourth, something like that. I come out, it's T-shirts. They done made their own Silky T-shirts.
Yeah.
We do not speak the same. And then the song that I wound up performing, that song wasn't even out, but they singing it because they found it. And we had never been to Copenhagen, England.
Right.
So the beautiful thing...
Talking about Copenhagen, Denmark?
No, yeah. Run me back. Thank you.
Yeah.
We never been to
You said different language, too. I was like, England?
Yeah, bring me back.
Okay. Copenhagen, Denmark.
But with being out there, it's just a trip because they do, I will say they do their homework a lot more than what we do.
I think they appreciate the artists more. They appreciate Americans going on, because I've been overseas, too. Mm-hmm. And it's always like, oh, shit, you're here. It's you. Oh, tell me about everything. I want to know. What is Frisco? Mm-hmm. And, you know, whereas here, it's like you could just fucking walk down the street and trip over a rapper. Like,
right.
But over there, they're just like real fans, I believe.
And just of music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period. Yeah. Like, you walk into places and they playing the B-side of everything.
Yeah.
The songs that you think you only know.
Yeah.
And they're studying them.
Yeah.
So by the time, you know, you get over there and you're an artist, if they've done their homework,
oh yeah,
like you're going to get love like...
They're going to pull up songs you forgot about.
Right. How you know this? Mm-hmm. And one lady brought my album to me. I'm like, I
love it.
This is 157 years old, but thank you.
Wow, I love it.
She bringing the first stuff out to me, but yeah, so like I said, just to tie it all together with how that label situation went crazy, that's when I went on the road.
Yeah, and then sometimes your biggest breakthroughs come through after like some of your hardest situations too. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of a tough situation, well, actually, before I even get into that, excuse me, you became like an official member of the group, and then you got into the studio together with the whole band.
Yes.
And Pam.
Yeah, we weren't there at the same time, but yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was, I'm sorry, I can't remember the album. Is that Sorry to Bother You, the album?
So it's Sorry to Bother You, the soundtrack. It's Sorry to Bother You, the album. And then you're probably thinking of Pick a Bigger Weapon.
Okay.
Pick a Bigger Weapon is when...
I'm thinking of the cover where the cops are coming in the door.
That's Sorry to Bother You.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But Pick a Bigger Weapon is prior to that.
So Pick a Bigger Weapon, gotta give Boops his props again. He had me sing a song on that album called Baby Let's Have a Baby Before We Do Something Crazy. We had a tour bus accident.
Right, that's what I was actually going to ask about too.
Okay.
That's a crazy, if you want to just tell that story.
So we had left on Thanksgiving. We left on Thanksgiving to start the tour. I think we're going to be going about 2 months. It's feeling like we made it. You know, it's the first time where we have the big bus, the 12 beds, the front and back living room area. You gotta hit the button where the door opens like the elevator. And I want to say we were only a week in, and Pam had came down to do a couple shows. She didn't get on the bus. She flew back home because she had something going. And we were supposed to stay in San Diego at, we had just did the House of Blues. We're supposed to stay overnight and leave to go to Scottsdale, Arizona. The bus driver pushed and pushed and pushed. Let's leave tonight. Let's leave tonight. We're not knowing that he's been up partying.
Oh, damn.
We thinking he been asleep all day. But he really wanted to go to Scottsdale early because he lived in Scottsdale. So if he got there that night, he would have been off at home for 2 days. So he talked everybody into leaving. And thank God I didn't go get in the bunk. I'm in the back. It's the drummer. It's the hype man from the other band, Metro. Bottom line, while we're on our way, the bus driver falls asleep. We flip 37 feet down a mountain. I have 3 broken ribs, a punctured lung. I'm asleep when the accident happens. So I wake up to a tumble and I assume I got knocked out because I woke up to the drummer hitting me, trying to wake me up. Pulled us off the bus. At the time, I don't know anything is broken. So when we're on the back of the bus, we hear Boots say, if you could hear the sound of my voice, get off the bus. Luckily, nobody's in the 12 bunks. I kept saying, I'm going to go get in the bed because that would have been a chamber because the power's out now. How are we going to slide the door open? I just would have been stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God I didn't, right? But so we get off the bus, drummer pulls me off, but it's a 2-lane road. And then we flip this way. And so there's a mountainside, right? I'm barefoot. So we climb up to a little hillside, but realize there's a valley between us and the 2-lane road. We see the fire starting. We take off running to go back down into the ditch to come back out.
And this is in the middle of the night.
This is the middle of the night. This is probably 3 o'clock in the morning.
God damn.
It's got to be 3-something because my birthday is 4/24 and my mother said a strange number called her at 4/24 and it was me.
Oh my God.
Calling from a random lady's phone on the side of the road.
Wow.
But when I'm trying to run.
You're a Taurus?
Huh?
You're a Taurus?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I'm 4/27.
Hey. Straight like that. Yeah, so when we're trying to get away from the bus to go down, to go back up to the street side, I'm hearing, sorry if it's TMI, I'm hearing, you know what it sounds like when you chew with your mouth closed? Mm. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm.
So I'm like, now I'm starting to breathe like, I don't, and then my stubbornness is like, I am not finna fall down and faint while we in. That will not be me. So, bottom line, my drummer could tell I'm having trouble breathing, and we could tell, but the wind is so cold, I almost couldn't tell that I was punctured. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's a couple of conflicting things. Again, butterfly effect. God protects you in a way. You know, you don't, what's meant for harm work out for good. A stranger pulls over, Teresa, and she pulls over. She said, give me who's hurt worse. And then she was like, because it'll take an hour for the ambulance to get here and it's going to take an hour to get back.
You're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Nowhere, barefoot. But I'm losing oxygen. She takes us one way back to the emergency room and she was like, I found these people and y'all need to get an ambulance.
Damn. Mm-hmm. Good Samaritan right there.
Good Samaritan. Shout out to Teresa. I don't know where you are, but she was a lifesaver that night. And I have to say this. I said this before, but I have to say it. Boots, the way they took care of us, and I have to for sure say me, they were super dope on how they were, you know what I mean? That like his, even though I wasn't signed to his label, which was Anti or Epitaph at the time, they were super accommodating to my family, flew my family out to get straight to me, and I wasn't even their artist, technically. You know what I mean? I was more so the little sister of the Coup, but flew everybody out and got my family to me. And during that time, when Boots still did shows, he still paid me like I was there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, people be so quick to say what people don't do or how things didn't go right, but they don't talk about when somebody was solid. So I have to, literally, I'm in the bed, 3 broken ribs, punctured lung, paid me like I was still there every show they did. And the fans, the Coup fans were super loyal, sending stuff that they were so, while I was recovering.
Well, y'all did like a whole Kickstarter too, right? To recover the funds to get a new bus, damaged instruments. And that was actually, so that Kickstarter helps fund the album that you're on too, correct?
So I don't know all of the particulars, but Boots always handled, if we only got this, then we only got that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If this is all that was on the table, there was no, this is all we got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a lot of people that don't, you know what I mean?
It's a lot of people
that don't. They don't. They just don't.
Yes.
So I have to say respect for that. So if it was $5 or $9 million, he was gonna handle it however it was. But while I was on recovery, he had talked me into doing this song, "Baby, Let's Have a Baby," that he wrote, and it's a singing song, not a rap, because I don't want to play like that. But he was like, sing it your way and da-da-da-da-da. I do it. He calls me while I'm recovering. Have somebody go get Rolling Stone magazine. And I'm like, all right. They go get it. He was like, now look. And look through. Had me sing that song. And it became one of the top 100 songs of the decade.
Damn.
Didn't even have an album out. I just featured on his album and wound up in Rolling Stone.
I love it.
You know, so again, what's meant, you know, to be for bad winds up you being rerouted because it's giving you some nice footing and positioning.
What a journey.
Yeah.
I love it. I get inspired by all these stories. Like I said, I hear everybody's story. People are doing this, doing that. And it's just like, the main thing I take away is just keep going.
Absolutely.
Stay true to your craft. Be around the right people. Be the right person. And, you know, if things don't work out 1 year or 1 decade, just keep going. And something, you never know what it is, but something good's going to come from it.
And sometimes the pullback, you know, sometimes the detour, you know, I say this to any artist, there's value in the valley. You know, just don't turn on yourself in the meantime. There's value probably being preserved. You probably couldn't handle the industry the way you think you could handle it. You probably needed to get your footing and get your mind right or learn some more business before you give them your baby and miss out on millions. You know what I mean? So most definitely, I feel like it's about the journey. You know what I mean? And make sure you keeping it all together. So when you get to display or share or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I feel like once you get to that point or that finish line, if you will, you're not going to be tripping off how long it took you to get there. It's just like you made it, you know, and there's just so many ways to be successful as an artist.
It most definitely is. Like I said, I have to give him his respect because he exposed me to different genres.
Yeah.
And I really was able to cut my teeth on being able to control a crowd.
Sure.
And not just do it because I'm sure I would have ventured, but to sing and rap and being able to play in different genres, who want to get up there with somebody just holding the mic and being still? Like I come up on watching Patty and Michael Jackson and freaking Busta Rhymes because he's not playing at all when he gets on that stage. I come from watching performers. You know what I mean? So you really, and when I was out with them, before then I was performing but when you blood, sweat, and tears, it ain't about how cute.
Yeah, and I hate to sound like that older dude, but I think especially for today's generation of rappers, just from what I see, there's some of them that get it, but there's a lot of them, especially here in the Bay Area, that don't understand, like, it's a good investment to have a good stage show player that then people want to book you and see you 10, 20 years from now because they know this motherfucker brings it when he gets on stage.
Literally, I can say, so I've always been on wax. I've always, every year I'm on something, putting something out, involved with something or what have you. But touring and performing has sustained me.
Yeah.
I don't really say, I hadn't had nothing out in a minute that was my own. I was featured on a gang of stuff, but because I performed so much, I literally was able to, or not was able to, when I booked my shows, for the most part, it sold out.
And you just recently did something at Yoshi's, correct?
Yeah, sold out. Well, with the exception of 4 or 5 people, you know what I mean? But that's having a good stage show, making sure you're not, wronging people.
Can you invite me if you do that again?
I most definitely will.
Yoshi's, I would love to check that out.
I most definitely will. That will be soon.
Okay, that's what's
Preferably for the birthday, but we ain't gonna talk.
Hey, there you go.
All right, straight like that.
Well, that's what's up. When you take me through this journey, it's an incredible journey. I get the sense that it's not over, that there's still more things on the horizon. What else do you have coming up that you're looking forward to?
Well, so I have my stuff. my No Passes project that I just got a side eye from over there on that board. The wizard himself, who I have enjoyed recording with, Baby Mama Mafia, the Hood Dogs, put me up on DEO, and they had me come feature on that project, and I was in love. I was like, oh, he know what he doing.
That's right.
Oh, yes, Lord, I will be here. So I have a bunch of stuff with the Hood Dogs, Moo and B. Stella and Impy. I featured all over their projects. But me and Jet Black, we have a EP that we're doing together that's coming out. He has the stuff with the Mud Brothers, but I just featured on the Mud Brothers. We just did a video for that. We got the Hang On video coming out. Me and Big Zeke. We're doing an EP together. And shout out to the mechanics who have been very present all through my career. I got some stuff that we've knocked out. So, it's my stuff and at least 4 EPs that.
Wow, I love it.
And you get it all this year.
Wow. Okay, so you're not playing.
I was gone too long. I have to make up. I owe you guys.
Up. I love to hear it. That's the energy you need for 2024.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well,
I keep telling people, I'm like, my birthday's 4/24/24.
Damn. It's gonna be a good year for you.
We gotta do some good stuff.
That's what's up. Well, I love it. I appreciate you so much for coming and telling your story here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime you need our support, where to find us.
Absolutely.
And there it is, y'all. Silk E.
The People's Champ, straight like that.
People's Champ, History of the Bay. Go check her out. Shout out to the Coup. Rest in peace, Panda Funksters. Shout out to everybody else watching this. Thank you. Thank you for watching, y'all. I appreciate you. I really mean that. Shout out to the sponsors, everybody else that rocking with us. History of the Bay, Dregs One. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.